We going?
Yeah, we good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ball Oasis show. We're about at this point about 9 days into the NBA season,
Yeah, just about.
and I think it's exceeded pretty much every expectation that I held going into it. Wouldn't you say, Jacob, up to this point?
Yeah, for the most part. A few surprises here and there.
Yeah, there's been the fair share of surprises. There's been the fair share of letdowns up to this point. The biggest surprise of all, we'll just go ahead and we'll start. We'll knock this thing out. Jacob, I'm sure, has a lot more to say about it than I do. The elephant in the room, as of late Tuesday night, I was just about to go to sleep, um, and we got the Woj bomb. We got the Woj bomb at about 1 a.m. James Harden officially traded to the Los Angeles Clippers. And at the time, I'm sure you were already asleep, Jacob,
Oh, yeah.
but it took like 30, 45 minutes for like the full package to come out. So I stayed up and I waited till the full package was announced. Interesting trade between the 76ers and the Los Angeles Clippers. So, Jacob, to start this episode, I'm giving you the floor because we've talked about the potential for this trade for a few months now. So,
Yeah.
the fact that it's finally seen through, what are your initial thoughts of the trade?
I like the trade. I didn't believe it at first because normally when I wake up, we have a group chat. I got in there. It's like Harden to Clippers, and I was like, what? Just waking up, didn't know what happened. So I had to go through all my notifications. I saw it. And like you said, it took about 30, 45 minutes for the details to come up. I believe we sent James Harden, PJ Tucker, and Philip Petrusev Clippers for Nick Batum, Robert Covington, Marcus Morris, and KJ Martin. And then
Yep.
I forgot the years, but two first round picks, I think a pick swap, and two second round picks.
But I got here.
Just from the picks alone, I like the trade because we didn't have a whole lot of picks from what we gave up for Harden in the year and a half ago in the Ben trade. But we got some wing depth, and I know we've talked that they haven't played much for the Clippers, those four guys.
Right.
But we've been playing good without James. I know we lost PJ, which a lot of people have their opinions about that. I think it's big, for the playoffs and defensively, like against Giannis, Tatum, Jaylen Brown, wings like that. But I think overall it was a good trade for both sides. I'm sure we'll talk about it in the Clippers side too. They're all in. I think they just decided they don't have a pick until 2030 now. So they push it all in for this year, and we'll see. So obviously those picks will get flipped either before the deadline, at the deadline, or in the summer. But we'll just have to see how it turns out. It'd be better to grade if we make a trade to see what the full return for the Harden stuff would be.
Yeah. On the Clippers side, I like it. I like it. Obviously, people have their opinions about James Harden, and rightfully so. I mean, just today he came out and said that he doesn't play in a system. He is the system.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that ruffles any feathers with his new head coach, Tyronn Lue, in LA. But I like it. He's back alongside Russell Westbrook, a guy who he has a lot of continuity with on and off the floor. And they're with PG and Kawhi. They're with PG and Kawhi, who have both been on the floor, both been healthy to start the season, both been playing pretty good basketball to start the season. The Clippers look pretty good.
Right.
They have the highest net ratings in basketball. Had a tough loss last night in overtime to the Los Angeles Lakers, but of course that was without James Harden and that was without the guys that they traded away. So depth-wise, I like it. I like it for the Clippers too because they retained Terrence Mann, which I thought was a big part of this all. Making him probably the least impactful untouchable of all time, I'll say.
Yeah.
Untouchable player, like, for a trade. Don't get me wrong. Terrence Mann's a good player.
Yeah.
But him being untouchable is a little crazy to me.
Yeah, it was either Terrence Mann or the extra first round pick, and we had to get the first round pick from Oklahoma City, of course, who have many picks they want.
87.
Yeah, so I think it was a swap with the Clippers, which down the road could be valuable. But
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people were surprised that Mann or Norman Powell wasn't involved.
Right.
So I
They
guess
still got Powell off the bench. They still got Bones Highland. They've got Mason Plumlee to play their
so
backup big.
they
Got
kind
good
of
depth.
they've kept all their depth. You know, a lot of these guys we got didn't play a whole lot, except maybe KJ Martin. But yeah, it's good that they get to the Clipper side. It's good they get to keep those guys, and they finally got the point where they've been wanting this past 4 years.
Yeah. Let's project really quick because obviously it's only 2 days in, and that's the best thing we can do right now. We can't really say who won this trade yet because obviously James Harden has the potential to, lift them up to a championship contending team.
Right.
But Jacob, right here, right now, do you think that the Clippers are now competing at the top of the Western Conference with teams like the Denver Nuggets? And I mean, so far in the young season, the Golden State Warriors have been
Good.
the
Yeah.
next best team, probably. Although the Dallas Mavericks are also 4-0. Shout out to Dallas for getting off to a hot start for me. But I definitely say it's Denver, and then I'd say so far Golden State is the next best looking team so far.
Right.
And obviously you got Phoenix too. Phoenix will be there once their guys get healthy.
Back. Yeah.
That once they get their top three guys, it doesn't matter who the other two are on the floor. We could run Ball Oasis out there. The two guys on the floor with those three. But as of right now, do you think the Clippers have entered themselves into that conversation?
I do. I think Denver's on a tier of their own right now. I know they had a bad loss last night, but they still look really good. Um, I'll put the Clippers up there with Golden State, Phoenix. Lakers have been struggling. So I'll put the Clippers up there. Like I think we've been saying it the whole time. We just got to see them healthy. And I don't think either of us expected the Harden trade to be this fast. I know you might have, because I know you said he probably wouldn't play in Philly again. I said he would. So I guess with the full year of it, we'll kind of get an early preview of what they could be in the playoffs if healthy.
Yeah, they're going to be a fun team to watch regardless of what happens. I will be tuned into a lot more Clippers games now than I was going to before. And they were already going to be a team that I watched a good bit of. So really exciting to see the Clippers kind of go all in for real. Like you said, no picks until 2030. They sent however many in the Paul George trade. And now with this one, they are the Los Angeles Rams of the NBA. So the Rams, of course, ended up winning a Super Bowl. So maybe the Clippers can win an NBA Finals, but they've got to conquer these top teams who've gotten off to a good start this season. Denver, like you said, still looks like the best team in the league. Jokic has been great. Their role players still look great. They've been able to suffice without Bruce Brown, with guys stepping up like Christian Brown and Peyton Watson, who's been really good in the young season.
Oh, yeah.
And in the Eastern Conference, Boston's undefeated at 4-0. I'll say they've probably looked the best out of any Eastern Conference team.
Right.
With probably your Sixers right behind them as the second best looking team so far, I would say. But yeah, Boston and Denver look like the best two teams a week into the season, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I agree.
No surprise, I wouldn't say. That's not a surprising thing.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't surprise. I know we both had Boston the 1 seed in the East, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, the way they're playing, they have a good shot at getting it until Milwaukee gets their offense figured out a little bit more.
Yeah, Boston currently has an offensive rating of 125, which is like easily the best in the league. And their defensive rating is they are seventh in defensive rating at 104. They've got a net rating of over 20 right now. So they're dominating. Obviously, that's kind of boosted by their 50-point win over the Pacers last night. The Pacers without Tyrese Halliburton. But, yeah, the Celtics look good. Kristaps Porzingis has looked good. He's been good offensively. Derek White has looked, like the guy on the perimeter alongside Drew Holiday. Obviously, we know what Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to do.
Yeah.
But they look good so far. I heard a stat in their first game against the New York Knicks, which is a team that really likes to pound the ball inside and get to that mid-range area, held the Knicks to 24 paint points in that first game they played. which is like a season low out of any team in the NBA. So
yeah,
even without a big name paint defender presence type person, they're doing it. They're doing it over there in Boston so far. They look really good. Dallas though. Dallas is 4-0. Maybe they haven't played the toughest schedule so far, but Dallas is 4-0. This is the guy that had Dallas as a 3 seed coming in. In the preseason, they looked really bad. They looked really, really bad.
we'll judge them later in a few more weeks.
Yeah, we'll definitely come back to Dallas and we'll see how all this sounds. But as of right now, Luka Doncic is leading the NBA in scoring as he did last season, up at 34 points a game again, and he's averaging 10 rebounds and basically 10 assists as well. So he's averaging a 34-point triple-double. He has been the Dallas Mavericks offense this season. I know Kyrie has missed a game or two early on. But shout out. I'm going to give a shout out to two guys. Two guys for the Dallas Mavericks I'm going to give a shout out to. I'm going to give a shout out to Tim Hardaway Jr. Because Tim Hardaway Jr. has been good to start the season. I know he had like 24 points off the bench last night. He's been shooting the ball really well, shooting the ball high volume-wise. He looks like he's back from whatever injury he had. Shout out to Tim Hardaway Jr. And Derek Lively. Derek Lively has been one of the best rookies so far this season, rolling on a lot of the picks that he sets for Luka Doncic. And, of course, Luka Doncic being the great playmaker he is, has been able to find him. Let me look up Derek Lively's shooting percentage because last time I checked, he was shooting 91% from the field.
I think he leads the league.
Yeah, he was shooting 91% from the field as of right now. Let's see, Derek Lively. Yeah, he's shooting over 80% from the field still. So a guy who coming into the season, they traded up for him in the draft, so they knew that they had to address their big depth. And he seems like the perfect type of big for them because he can play interior defense. And although the Mavericks aren't going to be a defensive juggernaut by any means, they're 4-0 to start the season. So shout out to Dallas for coming through for me up to this point.
Yeah, he's been really good, really fun to watch.
Dallas has the second-ranked offense right now. They have a 121 offensive rating. So
I would say, and Grant Williams has been pretty good lately. These last few games.
Grant Williams too. I know he had the 25-point game last night, but yeah, Grant Williams. I said it going into the season. I like what they picked up, and I know a lot of people disagree with that. And I also know it's a 4-game sample size, so I'm not going to say how I told you so yet. Yeah. But up to this point, they look pretty good. They
do.
I'm not saying they'll be a team that finishes in the top 3 like I may have predicted, but as of right now, they look like a playoff team.
They do. Yeah, they've been really good. Luka's had those crazy games like he always does. But those role players have really stepped up so far without Kyrie.
Yeah. Let's go to the other side of the coin, though, because there's a team that I know that a lot of our viewers are fans of that is currently the only winless team in basketball. Coming in with a record of 0-5 on the night is the Memphis Grizzlies. And obviously, after last night's game, they got blown out by the Jazz last night. Rough game. They're picking up Bismack Biyombo to try to kind of remedy some of the flaws that they have in the interior. But there's a lot wrong with this basketball team right now. They had a really good performance. I thought they played really well against Denver. I watched almost the entirety of that game. They played really well against Denver. But since that game, I can't say I've watched a game of theirs where they've looked very good.
I think my biggest takeaway is they don't have much scoring. It's really Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson, and that's it. Marcus Smart, I think, had a game where he had 20 or 20 plus. But other than that, like the bench guys have not been scoring.
Yeah, for sure. They're currently ranked 22nd in defense, by the way, which for the Grizzlies to be good, they have to be a top 10 defensive team. Yeah. Ranked 22nd currently.
I will say if they want to turn it around, now's the time with their next 2 games against the Blazers. They have to get one of those.
Yeah, I think they will.
Yeah.
I think they get one against Portland. Since we're talking about teams that we're all fans of on this channel, I might as well give a couple seconds about Portland. I'm not going to say too much because there's not much to say, but Shaedon Sharpe. Shaedon Sharpe is going to be a star. He's going to be a star. Last night against Detroit had a really good game, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. It's just a shot catalog. He welcomes contact. Coach Billups said he wants him to play like Devin Booker. He says that he has the potential to be a Devin Booker type player. I see some similarities. I think he could be more assertive, but he's the brightest spot so far for me this Blazers season. Blazers have won 2 in a row. They got an opportunity to win 2 more at home against Memphis. So despite all the bad that I've seen, like that game against the Sixers that we played was pretty rough for us. Pretty rough game. Joel absolutely had his way. But things aren't all that bad. No. I think we should talk about some rookies, though. I think we should talk about some rookies while we're talking about Derek Lively, and not much to say about Scoot Henderson up to this point. He hasn't really had his breakout type game yet. Yeah. He sprained his ankle last night. He might be out for a week or so. So we'll talk about him whenever he kind of makes his real impact.
Yeah.
But Brandon Miller has been very good for the Charlotte Hornets so far in this young season. I'm glad Brandon Miller's been good.
I know during the draft, I said they should have went Scoot, but he has been really good for them. I haven't watched the Hornets game yet, but I've seen some highlights and some stats. He's been really good.
Yeah. Let me look up what he's averaging real quick, because I believe it's over 15 points a game.
I think he's been their best player so far.
I think so, and he's been coming off the bench. I don't think he's started a single game yet.
I don't think so.
Yeah. This season, he's averaging 15.5 points a game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists on 47% from the floor, 42% from 3. That's good stuff from Brandon Miller. Very, very good stuff. So shout out to Brandon Miller for kind of, defeating some of the narratives that were surrounding him going into the season. Obviously, the Hornets have not been a great team to start the season and won't be a very good team, but Brandon Miller's solid. Let's talk about Wemby, though. Let's talk about Wemby, because I know a lot of people that watch this are invested in Wemby probably more than any rookie. So far this season, he's averaging a little over 16 points a game, about 7.5 rebounds, over 2 blocks a game, 46% from the floor, 26 from 3. Spurs look pretty good, man. The Spurs look pretty good. I know they stole that game in Phoenix the other night, but from what you've seen, Jacob, what's been the biggest difference for the Spurs this season?
I'll say a lot of it Wemby. Their defense, I think, has been pretty good so far. I guess the usage, Wemby's usage could be a little bit higher, but I know they're kind of trying to slow him into it to, the NBA, playing in the NBA and everything. But I don't know. They're just playing really good. A lot of ball movement. I know Devin Vassell's look good. A lot of continuity. They're just playing really well together right now. It's like, Wemby, with all the hype around him, he's not trying to do too much. He's just kind of fitting in with the team. Everybody's just playing the role, and they're getting wins out of it.
Yeah, and I think everybody's kind of waiting for him to have like that big time game where he has like 30-something points and has like 15 rebounds and like 5 blocks. But his output so far this season has been good. He's been a good, solid contributor as long as he stayed out of foul trouble, which I'm sure is something he'll get better at as he progresses throughout his career. But through his first 4 games, he looks as advertised, I can say pretty confidently. Yeah. Another guy who looks as advertised is Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren looks as advertised as well. What's impressed you the most about Chet Holmgren and that OKC team that you're so high on going into the season so far? Because they've looked pretty solid through their first 5 games as well.
I think coming in, we said his defensive impact, and that's, basically what it's been. I know he's been shooting pretty well. I don't know the stats exactly. You might have them pulled up. But
yeah, I got them pulled up right here. Let me read them off real quick. He's averaging 16 points, 7 rebounds, 2.5 blocks a game on 60% from the field and 52% from three.
Yeah, so
good start for Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, they played some tough teams so far. I know they had a bad game against Denver. Kind of blew the lead against New Orleans a few nights ago. But his impact is really shown, especially from last year, which Jalen Williams, it was kind of the small ball five. So with him, it's clearly a big difference this year, I think.
Yeah, OKC looks good. OKC looks good. They'll probably end up closer to your projection than they will to mine, if this holds up. And that's even with like not great play yet from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I know he's had like 2 pretty good games, but he had a stinker. He had a stinker in there where he only scored like 6 points.
Yeah, I think that was the game. He barely made. I think he only made 2 shots.
Yeah. Speaking of a great player scoring 6 points in the stinker, Damian Lillard followed up his impressive 39-point, what's it called?
Season.
Season opening game with the Bucks with a stinker. Who was that game against? It was against the Hawks, right?
Oh, the stinker? Yeah, it's Hawks.
Against the Hawks.
And last night.
Yeah. The Bucks are 2-2. The Bucks are 2-2. Obviously, it's only 4 games in, so obviously you need to have time to develop continuity, especially between 2 great players who are used to being catered around, like Giannis and Dame.
Right.
But I think that first game showed us everything we need to know of what they can be. And you saw it firsthand, Jacob, against your team. When we saw Giannis and Dame in the pick and roll, they were dynamic. And whenever Dame shoots like he usually does, it's going to mean the Milwaukee Bucks win a lot of games like we projected and like everyone projected.
Yeah.
But up to this point, I think they're just kind of developing continuity still. I don't think that Chris Middleton knows his role really well either.
He's on a minutes restriction, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with Dame, it seems like he's still trying to find his role too. It seems like outside of that first game.
Yeah. I'm not worried about the Bucks start though. They're only 2-2 as well. Yeah.
Like you said, the offense will come in time. I know their defense isn't as great on the perimeter, losing Drew Holiday, but when they get the offense figured out, it'll even itself out.
Yeah. Shout out Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley's been pretty good for them early on in the season. Another 2-2 team that's had their guys out, the Phoenix Suns, the aforementioned Phoenix Suns, had that nice opening night win in Golden State, followed it up with a close loss against the Lakers without Bradley Beal and Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Then lost that tough one to the Spurs the other night on basically the last play, which was so.
Yeah.
But the Suns look good. The Suns look good. They're gonna be good. I know Devin Booker's playing tonight, so
yeah,
he should be back going forward.
Whenever they have 2 other 3 guys on the court, they'll be winning more games. They'll win games.
Yeah, I agree. Their role players have been good so far. Nurkic has been pretty good on the young season. Josh Okogie has been really good in their starting lineup. Their guys off the bench, guys like Yuta Watanabe, Grayson Allen. I know Nasir Little came in and gave him a little something last night. Drew Eubanks is their backup big. They're a good team. Shout out to Frank Vogel. He's got them playing really good defense as well. Let me check the numbers. As of right now, they have the 4th-ranked defense in the NBA.
Really?
So, yeah. So they're playing really good defense over there in Phoenix. We know the offense is going to come.
Yeah.
That's something that we won't have to worry about at all. And we said the defense was going to be the thing so far through 4 games. They have the 4th-ranked defense. So look out. Look out. Before I go any further, though, Jacob, is there a team that we haven't mentioned yet that you specifically want to talk about?
Let me pull it up. I know we've mentioned a lot of teams. I haven't talked about Tyrese Maxey yet, but I think I've been saying that he's gonna be an All-Star this year. I think
Looking
it's
like it through a week.
like it. The playmaking was the big question coming in, and he's averaging 30 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. So I think he's another reason that the Harden trade went ahead and happened. But is there a team that's
The Miami Heat are 1-4.
Yeah, I was like
Miami Heat are 1-4, and they do not look very good. Their only win too was a near loss. Cade Cunningham 3 away from being 0-5 right now. So
I will say
that was good.
This happened last year. I don't think it was this bad. We know if they make it to the playoffs, what they can do. But still, it's just you get that feeling watching them that they just don't seem good right now.
No, Tyler Hero has been pretty good too.
Yeah, he's been the bright spot.
Yeah, he's been pretty good, but especially early in the season, I think even for them, it's unrealistic to ask what they're asking of their bench guys that go past like Duncan Robinson and maybe like Thomas Bryant, who've been there before. And they haven't gotten like a really good performance from Jimmy Butler yet. I think they've only gotten one good Jimmy game so far. It's I don't want to smell doom for the Miami Heat. It's very early, and that never goes well anyway. But as of right now, the Miami Heat have the 24th ranked offense, and they have the 17th ranked defense. And you obviously know in the regular season, Miami's probably not going to have a top 10 offense, but you expect that defense to be up at the top.
Yeah.
So got to get some things figured out. And if there's anyone who can figure them out, it is Coach Spo. But I just don't know personnel-wise right now if they've got what it takes. I don't know.
Yeah, some guys will have to step up, but it's early. I think something will happen. Something will happen. They'll have to do something. Did we mention New Orleans yet?
We have not mentioned the New Orleans Pelicans. What do you think about the New Orleans Pelicans so far?
They look good. Zion, Brandon Ingram, both healthy so far. I think I saw something earlier that since the trade in 2022, CJ, Zion, and Brandon's only played 12 games together, I think. And they're 8-4 in those games, which I think 4 of those games have been this year. They're 3-1. We both had them at the 11 seed, right?
Yep, we did.
So,
what's better than that?
Yeah, the way it's going could be a lot higher. Like you said, if they stay healthy, because it was this way last year too. They were at the top of the conference. They just look good, and they also have guys like Jose Alvarado out. I think Trey Murphy's still out.
He'll probably be out till about December.
Yeah, so if they can stay, I think they'll stay afloat. But if they can stay really good without those guys there when they get back, they'll have an even better chance to get even higher.
Would you believe me if I told you that they're playing really well and they have the second to last ranked offense right now?
Do they really?
They have the 29th ranked offense right now, but they also have the 5th ranked defense.
Okay.
So
they played. I don't know who they played.
They played Memphis, so Memphis is the worst offense right now. So that's probably a big part of it. Although that game was pretty close. Yeah. They played OKC. They played. What did they play? They lose.
No.
They didn't play Orlando, I don't think.
Memphis, New York, the Warriors. Even New York only scored 87 against them.
Pelicans are 6th in rebounding this year. Would not have expected that.
No, I wouldn't have either. Yeah, they look good. Zion looks really good. Will probably be in MVP talks if he's healthy and they have a good record most of the year.
I hope so, man. I would love to see it.
You gave up on them in the summer. Didn't give up, but not as high as you normally are.
All I'm gonna say is they did the exact same thing at the beginning of last year. So
I told them this is the last year I'm putting into it. So we'll see if it works out.
If you had to guess right now, without having the stats pulled up, who's the best defense in the NBA so far? Who would you guess?
Best defense?
Yeah. You're probably not going to get it right.
No. It's not. I wasn't say Toronto, but it can't be Toronto.
No, Toronto is number 9.
East or West?
It's a Western Conference team. It's a 500 Western Conference team. They're 2-2 to start the season.
Is it New? No, yeah, 2-2. It's not the Lakers. Clippers.
It is not the Los Angeles Lakers.
You can go ahead and tell me.
This team is first in opponents' points per game. Their opponents are only scoring 100 points per game. It's the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Minnesota Timberwolves have the best defense through 4 games. Likely will not stand, but they had that really good game against Denver. Finally, someone gave Denver their first loss. They lost to the Raptors, but they only gave up, I think, 97 points in that game, or like 107.
I know the Hawks game, they got blown out, and they were up 20.
Yeah, that was a rough game. That was a rough game for the Timberwolves. It's hard for me to believe the Timberwolves have the top-ranked defense so far because I don't think the Timberwolves have been that good. Would you say?
Yeah, I agree.
But as of right now, they have the top-ranked defense. Who do you think has the worst defense right now?
Worst defense?
This is another 500 team, so it's not a bottom feeder team.
I was gonna say Washington.
Not Washington. Washington's 28th, so they're close, but it's not the Washington Wizards.
Another 500 team?
Yeah. Eastern Conference team.
Is it Indiana?
I'm about to say, think about a team that got beat by 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Indiana Pacers, and that Boston game obviously involves them a lot. But they're giving up with that game. They're giving up 124 points a game. So we know Indiana's going to be really good offensively, especially with Reese on the floor. They've been pretty good to start the season outside of that Boston game. But yeah, they have the bottom-ranked defense right now.
What is Tyrese's injury? Do you know?
I didn't know. I reckon it's a day-to-day thing because I haven't heard like a lot be made of it. So I don't think it's anything too serious. Is there a team that which young team? Let's exclude OKC since we've already talked about them a little bit. Which young team have you liked watching the most so far, Jacob?
I'll probably say Detroit.
The Pistons. Why have you liked watching Detroit so far?
Ausar Thompson's been really good. I know we talked about it the other day. He's been really, really good. Cade obviously was hurt after 12 games last year. He looked really good. Jalen Duren's been one of my favorite players to watch so far this year, averaging, I want to say it's like 13 and 14 or something like that. 14 and 13.
17 and 14, yeah.
He's getting a lot of rebounds, a lot of points. I know we talked about the Killian Hayes problem, but I don't want to say they can.
It took 26 minutes last night for Killian Hayes. I just got to say real quick. 26 minutes for Killian Hayes, no points, 0 for 6 from the floor. And he's starting over Jaden Ivey. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Is there a reason he's starting over Ivey? Like just for the scoring off the bench?
I guess. I mean, Alec Burks was out last night, but even with Alec Burks in the lineup, he was
Hayes
starting.
has been starting though. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Hayes has been starting.
I don't understand it. Closing minutes last night, Marcus Sasser played over him, so that should tell you all you need to know. Marcus Sasser is a rookie. At the end of the first round.
Yeah, they've looked good so far. They got a bright future. One of the younger teams, excluding a few that have a bright future. Houston, I thought Houston would be better, kind of, if you want to talk about Detroit, but that's just another young team. But
yeah, Detroit's been fun. Detroit's been fun. Like you said, Jalen Duren's been really good. Cade is back.
Cade guy, yeah.
Cade, if he keeps it up, he'll be an all-star this season. Detroit's been fun. My team's Orlando. I've liked watching Orlando.
I've only watched one game so far, but yeah.
Orlando currently has the third-ranked defense. And we haven't even really had a big Paolo game yet. They could have easily stole that game in LA the other night. They beat Portland. They blew Houston out of the water. They're fun. They're a fun young team. And if they can get Jonathan Isaac to give them anything, they'll be a good team, man. I like the Magic. I like watching them.
Yeah, they've been good so far too.
Is there a team? Let me ask you this. We'll close here in a minute, but is there a team in the NBA who you do not plan on watching a second of until they make a change?
Pull them up.
Because I have one.
I haven't watched Brooklyn at all this year.
Brooklyn's been pretty good. Brooklyn's been pretty fun. Would you believe me if I told you that Brooklyn had a top 6 ranked offense?
I wouldn't believe you, but
that's true. Shout out to Cam Thomas. Thomas is the reason why. 30 scores.
Probably Washington. I haven't had a desire to watch them, and then they were down 20 and did an awesome backboard alley-oop yesterday, pulling Kuzma, and that just good.
So unserious. They're so unserious. My team, Chicago. I can't watch Chicago.
Watching Chicago. I hate to say it, I want to watch their downfall. I hate saying it, but I have trade reasons, but
yeah, Patrick Williams is right up there with Killian Hayes. I text Jacob almost every game that Chicago plays.
Every time, go look at the stats, and I don't even want to pull them up. It's the same every time. 20 minutes, 0 points.
Let me look at Patrick Williams' stats.
And he wants $200 million this summer.
I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he said that. Let's see, Patrick Williams. What are you doing so far this season? Patrick Williams is averaging 4 points a game, averaging 23 minutes a game, 4 points on 26% shooting, 12% from 3, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Is that worse than Killian Hayes? Let's find out. It can't be. It can't be worse than Killian Hayes.
Right.
That's saying something. Killian Hayes in 27 minutes is averaging 6 points per game, so he's a little better on 27% shooting, 23 from 3, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Would you say I'm not even gonna do that because that's a little too disrespectful, but I just don't understand that both of these guys are getting starting minutes. I don't understand.
Patrick Williams. Were they in the same draft class?
Right? What you say?
They were in the same draft class, right? 2020.
Yeah, they were.
Patrick Williams was number 4. Killian was 7.
That's maybe? Right. Yep, that's right.
They might.
They're the funniest box score watches so far this season, I'll say.
Yeah, I agree. I think I don't want to say it, but do you think they'll let Patrick Williams walk? Not if they rebuild. I don't think they do. So I doubt they would do it all. But I think they're going to wait and see if anybody offer them something to just match. They're going to see how everybody else values him, I think.
I definitely don't believe they're paying him $200 million. I definitely don't think that. Yeah. Rough stuff. Before we close, I do want to shout out a few more guys who've had good starts this season. Jalen Johnson has been good for the Atlanta Hawks, who are 3-2. Top 5 offense in the league so far. Shout out to DeJounte Murray for having a big game against the Timberwolves the other night. After starting 0-2, the Hawks beat the Bucks. They won that game against the Timberwolves. So they look like they're back on a pretty good track, even with Trae Young not playing great basketball.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson's a big reason why. Jalen Johnson has been kind of their breakout player.
Yeah.
MIP candidate Jalen Johnson. We should have seen it coming. Who else is there?
I think he's Jalen Johnson's one of the clear favorites for it. I think it's him, Tyrese Maxey, and I don't want to put Cade in there, but
Shaden. For counting second year guys, Shaden Sharp's got to be in there.
Yeah, Shaden. Yeah.
The Cleveland Cavaliers are 2-3, and so are the New York Knicks. What do we think about that? We put any stock into that?
It's still early. RJ Barrett's been good.
Yeah,
Been really good so far. I think he's been better than Randall and Brunson so far. Brunson's not playing like he did last year coming in, which, is just going to take time to get back into it. Is this the year they trade for Cat?
New York, you're saying? Yeah. I don't think they're trading for Cap.
It's been rumored, but I mean,
both of those teams, New York and Cleveland, are both bottom 5 offenses so far. Maybe because they've already played each other twice. And they both play painfully slow. So maybe that's a big reason why. New York does have the second ranked defense so far. Okay. So shout out to Tibbs for that.
Max Strus for Cleveland has been good.
Yeah. Cleveland role players have been pretty good.
Yeah.
Isaac Okoro's had some good games. Karis LeVert's had some good games. But yeah, both of those teams are 2-3. We'll keep an eye on them going forward. Outside of that, should we close with a little Golden State talk? Because Golden State's 4-1. They look pretty good.
I've watched some. I know Chris Paul's been great for them. I know he's coming off the bench now. He has this last game. Steph is doing Steph things.
Steph's really good.
He's been really good. Other than that, I think Moses Moody's been really good for me. I haven't really paid attention to Jonathan Kuminga much. I know we had him as a few of our award predictions.
He's been solid. So far.
Yeah, so
maybe not the breakout like we thought he would have so far, but he's been solid.
Yeah, I don't think. I think they'll be fine as long as Steph got hurt last year. That's what kind of went wrong, and they've won more road games now than they have, I think, than they did through December last year or something like that. So that was their biggest problem last year.
Outside of that, though, before we close, Jacob, do you want to give us a game of the week to watch going forward?
Watch going forward? Pull one up.
I'll say I think I'm gonna start giving up my homework teams again. I think I'm gonna start doing that again for every episode.
It was a curse last year.
It was a curse for whichever team got it. They immediately started losing. So I'm gonna give a team that hasn't won a whole lot so far.
Before you do that, the in-season tournament starts Friday.
Right. Good catch.
Which I don't think we've talked about it yet on here. Basically, they're just trying to get more viewership from fans and even international. Kind of how they set the tournament up. I believe the winner. It's like groups. It's like I think groups of 5.
6 groups of 5. Yep.
Yeah. The ones with the best record move on out of each group, I think.
And there's like a wild card, right?
Yeah, wild card. Whoever has the best record outside of those teams move on. Then it's like a tournament style thing in Vegas. They play. Trying to think of anything else. I think the winner gets like $100,000 per player, something like that.
Yeah, there's still a lot that even as much as we watch basketball, there's still a lot that we don't understand about it that hasn't really been relayed to the people. I mean, obviously the basics have, but there's not much that we can really go in depth about yet. I know the first games are tomorrow, so maybe we see kind of the format of everything beginning tomorrow. The courts are cool for it.
Yeah, I like the courts. Yeah,
season tournament courts are a fun little caveat, and of course the city edition uniforms are going to be worn by the home team as well. So yeah,
I guess
it's a lot like soccer.
Yeah, I guess for game of the week, I don't know if Tyrese will play tomorrow. I imagine he will. Well, never mind. Him and Jalen Smith are game time decisions, and so are Darius Garland and Jared Allen. That was gonna be the game of the week, but
the Cavs versus the Pacers.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll go with Knicks Bucks. It's a tournament tomorrow. Every game's a tournament game tomorrow, in-season tournament game. So I'll go Knicks Bucks.
That should be a good one.
I looked until Sunday, and one of these are probably the best one.
Yeah. For my homework team, I think I'm going to tell y'all to watch, those of y'all who are watching on the regular. Watch some Charlotte Hornets basketball. Watch some Charlotte Hornets basketball, because you might not have the opportunity to do it later in the year because they'll probably be bad. They've got all their guys playing right now. Brandon Miller's good. They're a fun watch. They are a fun watch right now. So I'll say watch Charlotte Hornets basketball.
I'm gonna try to watch them.
Yeah, they've been fun in what I've watched so far. Other than that, though, I think that about wraps everything up in week 1.5 in the NBA. Obviously, next episode we'll continue to fill y'all in on the happenings of the league. So I'm sure there will be plenty.
Yeah.
Jacob, you got anything to say before we close this episode, though?
That's all we got.
That's all we got. You heard the man. We'll see y'all next time, and peace out.
Yeah.